At 9, this is Other Derana 24/7.
Dinesh Gunawardena gets 1 week suspension from Parliament. Sri Lanka and Indonesia to enter into a FTA. 30 dead in Kabul hospital attack. Kusal Mendes falls 6 runs short of first double century. Good evening. This is your news at 9. Let's take a look at the top story tonight. A proposal for a free trade agreement was on the agenda today during bilateral discussions between President Maithripala Sirisena and his Indonesian counterpart Joko Widodo. They discussed the possibility of looking into the matter through respective foreign ministries.
President Maithripala Sirisena's state visit to Indonesia commenced with the conclusion of the Leaders' Summit of the Indian Ocean Rim Association yesterday in Jakarta. A ceremony was organized at the Merdeka Presidential Palace to welcome the Sri Lankan head of state with a 21-gun salute. Bilateral discussions followed, with the two leaders having detailed dialogue on implementing a new plan to strengthen cooperation in the tourism sector. The president has also revealed to his counterpart that new investment opportunities will be opened up for Indonesians. In the presence of the two leaders, 2 agreements on cooperation in maritime and fisheries as well as traditional industries were signed. President Maithripala Sirisena also invited the Indonesian head of state to the country.
Sri Lanka is deeply grateful for the recent gift of rice from Indonesia, which President Joko Widodo, on my appeal, donated 5,000 metric tons to the people of Sri Lanka to meet the shortfall in rice supply. As Excellency President Joko Widodo pointed out, we had fruitful discussion this morning on several areas of mutual interest. We have agreed on several concrete initiatives to enhance our relations and partnership interest.
President Maithripala Sirisena was treated to a carriage ride at the presidential palace. His state visit to Indonesia will conclude tonight.
On the developments of the Lanka fishermen issue, 10 Sri Lankan fishermen were arrested by the Indian Coast Guard for allegedly violating international maritime boundary. The incident follows the alleged shooting by the Sri Lankan Navy on Indian fishermen. Indian media reports say the 10 fishermen along with 2 boats were detained approximately 50 nautical miles to the northeast of Point Pedro. Meanwhile, Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development Mahinda Amaravira elaborated on the matter.
We are investigating whether the arrests were made in Sri Lankan waters. I have already assigned the Director General at the Department of Fisheries to look into the matter. It is just speculation. As a government, we express our deepest sympathies to the deceased. I have issued directives to the Defence Secretary and the Navy Commander to launch independent investigations into the incident. We will take necessary measures to rectify the situation if the fault lies with us.
Deputy Foreign Minister Harsha de Silva also expressed his views regarding the matter.
According to my understanding, 4 fishermen have been arrested. We have arrested 146 Indian fishermen, while India rarely arrests ours. There were no Sri Lankan fishermen in their custody until recently. We have to find a permanent solution for the matter. There is a legal boundary between 2 countries. We are hoping to solve this problem without any issue with India.
Indian media reported yesterday that the Sri Lankan Navy allegedly opened fire at Indian fishermen, leaving 1 dead and another injured in Sri Lankan waters on Monday. The 21-year-old deceased was a fisherman from Tangachimadam in Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, responding to the allegations, Sri Lankan Navy spokesperson said the investigation report on the alleged shooting will be submitted to the Navy commander within 2 weeks. In a statement yesterday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the government of Sri Lanka is deeply concerned about the alleged shooting of Indian fishermen, and the initial investigations indicate that Sri Lankan Navy is not involved in the incident. Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan High Commissioner in India, Chitrangani Vagiswara, said a written statement by the Sri Lankan Navy has been submitted to the Indian Ministry of External Affairs today. Fishermen held several protests in Tamil Nadu today, demanding firearms from the government. Most women in the country attempt to pursue a higher education and secure a good career, while who are unable to complete their education tend to choose careers in fields viewed as traditionally feminine. Today on International Women's Day, we have a story about a woman who chose a path less travelled.
After the death of her father, Samanthi Ratnasinghe was left with no option but to take care of her old mother and bedridden brother. Despite this burden of responsibility at a young age, the Hambantota native successfully passed her ordinary level examination and then chose to provide for her family by opening an auto garage with mechanical and painting services thanks to skills she had learned from her father. While he was alive, her father passed on a set of skills in what is traditionally regarded as a masculine field. Today, she is able to weld iron, aluminium, tin and other metals using electricity or oxygen and work on a variety of vehicles in her increasingly popular garage.
Currently, I work at a place I have rented. I could expand this garage and provide employment to more girls. There are some girls who are willing to join me. I can't recruit them yet because I don't have facilities. If anyone likes to give me a place to expand this business, I will be grateful to them.
And as we continue with our Women's Day theme, we have a story of a woman who chose to leave her family to provide them with a better future. Unfortunately, the fate she encountered was not what she expected. This is a similar refrain to hundreds of other women who seek employment abroad and face harassment.
Shyamali, mother of a 6-year-old girl and wife of a drug addict, was duped by a so-called foreign employment agency and then abused by her employer abroad as she sought to provide for her family.
It's
been 1.5 years since I went to Saudi Arabia. The owner of the house and his uncle harassed me. They started hitting me and abusing me. One day when I couldn't take it anymore, when I was hit and bleeding, I escaped from the house barefoot, wearing a torn dress. My husband does not have a proper job. I went abroad because I was worried about the education of my daughter. We don't have a place to live.
Foreign employment is considered a lifeline of Sri Lanka's economy, but stories like Shyamali's remain dangerously frequent.
As we told you, today the world celebrates International Women's Day under the theme, Be Bold for Change. After the Women's Day was first celebrated in 1911 in Copenhagen, the 8th of March every year is dedicated to women. As part of our focus on this special day, we'll look at the situation of Sri Lanka and women.
Sri Lanka have a high literacy rate and female students enrolled in tertiary education outnumber their male counterparts. However, the women's employment rate and their representation in parliament is comparatively lower than the other countries in the South Asian region. We contacted Professor Siri Hettige, Senior Professor of Sociology at the University of Colombo.
I think these are important events because on such days we tend to focus attention on various aspects of the event that we celebrate. And also, I think this is an occasion or opportunity to raise, some of the important issues that persist. Now, in this particular case, this is important because we can really look at, where we are in terms of what we have achieved in this country, and also in terms of what else we have to do to improve the status of women.
We also spoke to Dr. Radhika Kumaraswamy about International Women's Day and her thoughts on bettering our society.
As we celebrate International Women's Day, I think it's really important to remember the origins of this day. A factory burned down. It was very badly made and killed many garment workers. I think there was so much outrage then that International Women's Day Act was born to protest inhuman labor conditions.
And a protest was organized today by the Inter-University Students' Federation against the private medical college in Malabar. The protest, titled the Anti-Seitan Students Movement, commenced from 4 different locations in Colombo.
The protest march began this morning from Wattala Dehiwala and the universities of Kalaniya and Jayawardnapura. It was organized by the Inter-University Students' Federation together with the Inter-University Bhikkhu Association and medical faculty students. Representatives of political parties, civil activists and parents were also present. Vehicular traffic was disrupted in the afternoon as the 4 protest marches converged in Colombo. The police requested motorists to use alternative routes to avoid traffic congestion. The Colombo Fort Police attempted to hand over a court order preventing forceful entry to the Presidential Secretariat. The protesters in Maligawatta, however, refused to accept it. The court order issued by the Colombo Fort Magistrate Lanka further said that the public and the motorists should not be inconvenienced by the protest. The rally ended at the Fort railway station.
And Dr. Neville Fernando has written to the government requesting the state to take over Seitan. This was revealed by the president of the Seitan Parents Association, Gamanu Vijayaratne, during a media briefing in Colombo today.
We got to know yesterday that Dr. Neville Fernando has requested the government to take over the Neville Fernando Hospital. We clearly say this decision has brought the issue to an end. A decision was arrived at during a discussion with the administration to open up the campus for inspection. We invite the Inter-University Students' Federation or the Medical Council to check the qualifications of these students.
Meanwhile, calling a meeting, Dr. Jayantha Bandara expressed his views on the Seitan issue.
The government does not follow a precise policy. The President says that he will bring a solution which is acceptable to everyone. The government should clearly express their stance. People in favour of Seitan are traitors.
The Human Rights Council has decided to extend its support to the co-sponsored Geneva resolution for another 2 years without amendments. Sri Lanka handed over the resolution in 2015. Minister Harsha de Silva elaborated on the matter during a meeting at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today.
Yesterday, our permanent representative at the United Nations in Geneva, Ravinath Aryasinghe, informed us that the co-sponsored proposal 30/1 by Sri Lanka dated October 2015 will continue as before. We have not included anything new in the proposal. This very proposal has been approved for 2 years, and in 2 years we intend to table the proposal in Geneva. Some might question whether we plan to introduce a hybrid court of foreign judges. We have not agreed to any such suggestion.
And from today's parliamentary sessions, parliamentarian Dinesh Gunawardena was suspended from parliamentary sittings for a week following a vote today. The MP's continuous disruptions to proceedings led to the vote.
The Speaker had to adjourn the parliamentary session on 4 occasions today. A much debated and heated discussion occurred during the session once the Speaker announced that NFF leader Wimal Weerawansa and members of his party cannot sit independently in the Parliament. The Speaker's announcement came in response to parliamentarian Wimal Weerawansa's request to afford his party, the NFF, the opportunity to act independently within the Parliament.
I am also, as you just announced, I am recognized as the leader of a group. Yeah, so give me a chance at least.
Following the heated discussions between opposition MPs and the Speaker, the Parliament was adjourned at 1:40 in the afternoon for 10 minutes. The Parliament was adjourned for a second time at 2:05 in the afternoon, following another heated argument with parliamentarian Dinesh Gunawardena.
ඔව්. ඔව්.
The Speaker asked the MP to leave the Parliament over his unruly behaviour, to which opposition parliamentarians expressed their opposition.
ඕකනේ බොහොම ඉවසීමෙන් වැඩ කරනවා නම් කොච්චර හොඳද කතා නායක.
ඒක ඔබතුමා දැනගන්න මට නෙමෙයි ඔබතුමා දැනගන්න. කතා කරන්න.
ඔය ඉන්න කතා කරන්න තමයි
කතා කරලා කියන්න. ඒක සාකච්ඡා කරලා තමයි තින්නේ දුන්නේ.
කියන්න දෙන්න.
ඒ කියන්නේ වෙනම කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්.
වෙනම මොකද? අද කියන්න එපා අපේ අයිතිය. ඒක ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී පාර්ලිමේන්තු ක්‍රමයේ
දිනේෂ් ගුණවර්ධන මන්ත්‍රීතුමා බරපතල ලෙස විනය විරෝධී ලෙස හැසිරෙන බැවින් ස්ථාවර නියෝග 74ක වගන්තිය යටතේ අද දින රැස්වීමේ ඉතිරි කොටස අවසන් වන තෙක් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී පාර්ලිමේන්තුවෙන් පිටත් වෙන ලෙස මම ඔබතුමාට අවස්ථාව කියනවා. කාලිකව අපි සභාවත් සිටිනවා.
The parliamentarian, however, was still seated at the session, and the mace bearer was directed to escort MP Dinesh Gunawardena out of the chamber with the support of the police. The Parliament session commenced at 3:15 in the afternoon, and Leader of the House, Lakshman Kirialla, proposed that parliamentarian Dinesh Gunawardena be suspended from parliamentary sittings for a week. A total of 85 parliamentarians voted in favour of the decision, and only 22 voted against. Another 114 were absent during the vote. 3 MPs further abstained from voting.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe commented in reaction to the incident in Parliament.
I
regret the incident which happened in Parliament today. This incident proves that Wimal Weerawansa is not an independent parliamentarian. He is a member of the UPFA. Therefore, don't accept him as an independent parliamentarian. They all work together.
And on the controversial bond issue, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Treasury bond issuances convened for the 9th day today. THP Sarachandra, Superintendent of the Public Debt Department, appeared before the Commission to give his testimony for a second day. The Commission of Inquiry probing the controversial Treasury bond issuance commenced sittings at 10 this morning, with the Superintendent of the Public Debt Department, THB Sarachandra, being questioned by Senior President's Counsel Shahida Bari. Today's focus was the central bank bond auction on the 29th of March 2016. The Commission probed whether perpetual treasuries was at an advantage during the auction, during which the tender committee had accepted all bids placed by the company. The Superintendent of the Public Debt Department said the tender committee accordingly had accepted 10.3 billion worth of bids from perpetual treasuries, supporting the increment of the accumulative amount for the company to be 32% of total bids. The Commission also noted how the second highest bidding primary dealer, Wealth Trust Securities, succeeded in gaining 18 to 20% of bids. Responding to a question by the Commission, the Supreme Court Judge Prasanna Jayawardena, the Superintendent of the Public Debt Department, noted that he was unsure as to whether the second highest primary dealer had any connection with the government. THB Sarachandra also revealed that the auction was successful in obtaining the 105 billion rupees required for the cash flow of April 2016. He further made evident that a comprehensive report was compiled by him following the intense media scrutiny of the relevant bond auction. The report, he said, was handed over to the Department of Finance. The Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the controversial Treasury bond issuance will reconvene tomorrow. And Colombo stocks ended in negative territory, although market turnover managed to cross the 1 billion rupee mark. Now we have RM Sivanathan from the Colombo Stock Exchange for the day's trading.
The benchmark all-share price index lost 13.04 points to close at 6,095.07, while the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index lost 21.39 points to close at 3,507.77. The turnover was 1,063.84 million rupees, with 22.3 million shares changing hands in 2,420 trades. The market capitalization at the end of the day was 2,676.54 billion rupees. Top 5 gainers of the day were SME Leasing Non-Voting, Tesagro Non-Voting, Tesagro, Madalseema Plantations and Browns Investments. While the top 5 losers were SME Leasing, Central Investments and Finance, Asia Capital, Huge International and Asia Asset Finance. Today, there were 3 crossings and the crossing turnover was 492.28 million rupees. Today's foreign purchases was 682.85 million rupees. Foreign sales was 528.07 million rupees.
And here's a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other major currencies during the day. Welcome back. Sri Lanka started the second day of the first test against Bangladesh in Galle in a strong position with the score at 321 and centurion Kusal Mendes still at the crease. After eventually being bowled out with 494, Sri Lanka captured 2 Bangladeshi wickets in the final session to lead by 361 runs at stumps.
Beautiful sweep shot. He's hit that right in the screws.
After his heroics yesterday, Kusal Mendes was only able to add another 28 runs to his tally, falling 6 short of a double century.
In South Africa. It's in the air and someone's there to catch it. He's looking down.
Niroshan Dickwala and Dilruwan Pereira were able to add half centuries, but Dickwala's dismissal was the first in a series of wickets for the Bangladeshi bowlers. Hopes of capitalizing immediately on their 494 runs were dashed by Bangladesh's stubborn openers, who put on a record 118 before the first breakthrough. Tamim Iqbal fell for 57 and Mominul Haq followed for 7, with Bangladesh making it to the close on 133 for 2.
Down the track, one bounce over to the fence.
And students of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia and Royal College, Colombo participated in a cycle and vehicle parade ahead of the 138th Battle of the Blues between the 2 schools, which begins tomorrow at the SSE.
The parade started around 10 a.m. Royal College started their parade on school premises and travelled around Colombo via the Flower Road and returned to the school. St. Thomas's parade headed towards Welawatta and returned to the school. The 2 teams will battle it out for the prestigious D.S. Senanayake Memorial Shield at the SSC tomorrow. This match marks the 138th cricket encounter, which is known as one of the oldest cricketing encounters in history. St. Thomas's College has 34 wins, while the Royal College has 35 wins to date.
Welcome back. Attackers stormed the largest and best equipped military hospital in Kabul today and engaged security forces in a gun battle within the building. The attack was later claimed by the so-called Islamic State via its news agency. Condemning the attack, the president of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani, said it trampled all human values.
The assault began after a suicide bomber blew himself up near the rear gate of the 400-bed hospital. 3 more attackers then entered the complex disguised as doctors and began to open fire on staff and patients in the hospital. Afghan commandos descended into the hospital compound in an operation that has seen all 3 gunmen killed. However, at least 30 civilian deaths have been reported as authorities continue to secure the hospital.
And on to weather forecast for tomorrow now. Showers or thunder showers will occur in most parts of the island, particularly in central Uva, western Sabragamu, northwestern and north central provinces and in the Hambantota district after 2 p.m. A few showers may occur in the coastal areas of the Batticaloa and Ampara districts in the morning. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. The general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning. Here's a look at your city-by-city forecast. And that's it from us tonight. For the very latest in local, international, business, sports, weather or entertainment news, log on to www.otherderana.lk or like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter @otherderana. Before we go, we thought of leaving you with the visuals of how Afghan women practice a challenging sport such as fencing.
Information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana, 24/7.